Well, happy Sunday, or happy whatever day, wherever you are, you may be watching our pre-recorded broadcast. Welcome to those of you in the live channel, and as always, welcome to you in Discord this morning. Discord is live as well. Welcome to Open Pagan Church. Sunday, September 22nd, 2019. You'll notice up at the top I found where I could add a title as to what the topic is about on a day-to-day basis. That'll help folk be able to figure out what the hell it is we're talking about before they click on the video. And yes, Blessed Mabon. Yesterday. Blessed Mabon. And depending on where you're at, some people celebrate Mabon between the 20th and the 22nd. Shall we say good morning to Cindy, Clint, Lucy, and Lee?
Welcome. Good morning to you, Don.
Hello, hello, hello. Well, thank you, Cindy, for the topic, how to ask for help from the gods and goddesses. Well, 30-second topic here. Sit down and talk to them just as if you and I were talking. Right. Video done. No, I'm just kidding. Seriously, how do you ask for help? And that opens up a wide range of possible conversation there, if you will. When you are in need and you call a friend for help, you just used to, you'd pick up the phone and dial the number and say, hey, what are you doing today? Mind if I come over for a bit? And you come over and you sit down and toss back a coffee or a cold beer, whatever it is you drink, and you'd ask for help. Well, nowadays in the digital age, people don't talk anymore. They excuse me. They send Facebook posts, PMs, IMs, and all the other chats and text and email. So in this digital age, there's all kinds of ways to ask for help. You've got what is it, GoFundMe? There's several links and pages and such out there where people can ask for assistance. But and you'll notice I put in the link, how do you talk to the gods? How do you ask for help? And better than that, how the hell do you even know they're listening? Well, how do you know they're not? So what do you think, those of you watching in, listening in this morning? How do you ask for help? Do you go to altar? Do you get on bended knee? Do you light a candle? Driving down the road? What? How do you ask for help?
Well, to me, asking help from the gods is, at what point will I do it? You know, do I do it until I'm like at the panic stage? Or do I ask every morning, like I get up and say, thank you for the help on the wisdom and knowledge that you let me learn today?
Well, that's pretty good. So you're thinking for what you've got and kicking in going, what's the task for today? More or less, right?
More or less, yep. And then if I get stressed out about something, I'll go and say, stop. Okay, gods, deities, help me calm down. But do you have to go to a point where it's at a panic state to do that?
Right. And of course, Clint posted in there, sneaking in quietly. So I guess Clint likes to sneak in quietly and ask his gods and goddesses for help.
No,
Quiet,
he just
quiet.
joined
Never,
he just
never.
joined the Discord. He's trying to act like he's being quiet, but I saw him.
Yeah, I see him over in Discord, being Mr. Stealth. Uh-oh, I heard a rustle of a microphone there.
Yeah, I just woke up.
I just woke up.
Rise and shine. It's sunshiny and it's a beautiful day.
Yeah, you guys down south got a bit of water over last week, so I've seen.
We barely got any.
Hampshire Finette got 45 plus inches.
Phew, wow. You know, that actually kind of flows right off into the topic, how to ask for help. Yeah,
I did.
Go ahead.
Yeah, when it started raining heavy and the road started getting covered with water, and it's rare that happens here. It came up to the curb and stopped all of a sudden. And I said, okay, guys, thank you very much for the help.
Now, I have another question. I know that this is the topic, but what about having, how do you know if you're asking for help because you need it or because it's personal gain? I know that whenever I first started, I was told as pagan, never cast for personal gain. So what in there is the difference?
See, I muted myself. Therein lies the paradox of asking the gods for help, and that was one of the things I was going to talk about. Thanks for bringing it up. It slipped my mind. So let's think about it. Let's see. Lee says I sometimes ask for help using the tarot cards. Other times I speak as though they were sitting right beside me. Absolutely. And that actually does bring up a good point, Lee. Some people use different forms of divination, different tools, if you will, of the pagan philosophy. They will, I know a lot of times with tarot, fae cards, and the like, they'll ask a question, they'll shuffle the cards, and they'll lay them out. Runes are the same way, tossing crystals are the same way, and tossing bones are the same way. I know there are a boatload of different philosophies out there that read the bones, so to speak. And on your question, Lucy, you're actually dead on. What is help but personal gain? If you're asking for yourself.
I am in a way because honestly, like a lot of times I don't like to ask for anything because I'm afraid of it crossing that line. But I will ask for guidance.
Perhaps it's asking for guidance that is key, but then in retrospect, if you're asking for guidance and they put the map in front of you, some people don't see that as guidance because they have to read the map. When some people ask for guidance, they expect to be led around by the nose, if you will. The expectation of the gods to come down and say, okay, hey, stupid, yo, right here, read this book, follow this page, go to this website. That's typically not the way they work, or at least it never has been in my experience anyway. There's a little thought, or a little ping, or I'll be searching something, and this is the one I love. I will have had a question in my mind, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 days ago, and I'll be searching something else, and Google will come up with something that I was looking for 3, 4, 5 days ago. I do that a lot if I'm researching topics for Open Pagan Church or Live with the Shaman. I'll ask for a topic, and of course, if everybody goes mind blank as we do, something will pop up. So I was just fixing to say kind of the same thing Lee put in. I don't see asking for guidance as self-gain. No, absolutely. I completely agree. Self-gain, and I'm sorry, but human beings do it. It's part of the nature. So much of the time, if you play the lotto, I mean, hell, I'm too broke to play the lotto. But if you play the lotto, you fill out your numbers and you ask the gods, okay, let this be the one, right? Let this be the one. Well, and see, that could kind of, sort of be part of the oxymoron. If I was to win the multi-million, 2/3 of what I would do with it wouldn't be self-gain at all. It'd be put back into the church, it'd be put back into the pagan community, maybe to start a pagan outreach center, which I've always wanted to do. But the base of it, the base of the question, would be self-gain, because it would pay off the house, it would get my parents out of debt, it would get us out of debt. So, but even still, splitting the atom, is that self-gain? It is self-gain helping family. Well, sure it is. Helping family helps self. Forming a pagan outreach center would be wonderful. And part of it would be self-gain, because I would be very proud of the idea that it was able to be started. Self-gain, I think, in my perspective, comes in when the asking for help, right, quote unquote, is being selfish. I just ran a red light. Gods, please don't let me get a ticket for running that red light. Versus the roads are slick, the entire freeway comes to a dead stop. You're doing everything you can to stop your vehicle, and you're asking the gods, okay, a little hand here would be nice. I got to stop this damn thing. I'm going to get hurt, and other people are going to get hurt. Well, to me, that's not necessarily self-gain. I don't want to hurt others, and I don't want to hurt myself. But running the stop sign and asking not to get the ticket, that would be self-gain. We find ourselves talking to whatever deity we follow off and on automatically. I walk in at work every day, and I sit down at my desk, and I say, okay guys, please don't let this be a beat down day. Is that, lack of a better term, is that a cast to the gods to let it be a good day? Or is that just simply throwing it out to the cosmos to go, let this be a good day? Because one of the things you need to think about is when you're asking the gods for help, who else are you asking for help?
Well, you're putting it out to the universe as well as to the gods, but you can't like just leave it there. You have to react. You can't just be like, okay, well, I told them that this is what I want, and so that's it. So I'm done.
Right. But it's simpler than that. It's simpler than that. When you're throwing it out to the cosmos and you're throwing a question out to the cosmos, who else is hearing your very question if they're listening?
Your guides.
Simpler than that.
Your family.
Simpler than that.
Spirit.
Simpler than that.
You're asking just to have it be a good day in your mind.
Self.
Good job, Clint.
Self. Where else can you start asking for help than self? And it
Can't help yourself. Who can?
right. You have to listen, right? If you're asking the gods for help and you're asking the cosmos for guidance, you're asking spirit guide for guidance, you're asking spirit to open yourself up that you may understand the guidance. But you have to do it. Self has to listen to self when asking for help. Because if nothing else, through all of the years of being a pagan minister, so much of the time when I'm counseling someone else, I find it gobsmacking how much of what I'm telling them is the very thing I need to be listening to myself. Any thoughts? No? So, what?
Yes, because, like you said, we get up in the morning, we ask for wisdom and knowledge. Is that self help?
I believe it is, yes. I know anymore when I go to get my fat ass out of bed, the only thing I want to be able to do is stand up under my own accord, be able to get dressed and go to work without having to use a cane or a wheelchair. I'm always rather thankful for that.
Indeed.
But I also know that you are the one that has to do it. I am the one that has to do it. The gods aren't going to come down and pick my ass up out of bed and carry me to the bathroom and sit me on the commode and then pick me up off the commode and dress me. As long as I am able, I will dress myself. I will get myself ready, get in my car, and go to work. Or on days I work from home, I will waddle my ass in here with my coffee and my vape and all the rest of it. And I'll sit down and I'll log into the phone and get ready to go to work. But herein lies the whole point of the whole discussion, doesn't it? Asking the gods for help. You got to do it yourself. They're not going to work for you. They're not going to throw $1,000 into the mail here's a gift from the gods. Well, I would tend to question a money order that I got that said that. So thinking about it, at the end of the day, we, you, me, have to do and be open to input. And having known people that are wheelchair bound, I've known people when I was younger that were quadriplegics. They were completely, totally dependent on others around them. They, the ones, at least the ones I knew, went through the stage of giving up, as you would do. They went through the stage of the different forms of grief of losing their mobility, just as anyone else would do. But by the end of the day, I've also seen those that were told they would never walk again. They would never be able to do anything again. And through their own tenacity, their own will, and whatever gods they followed that helped them have that will, they fought past it. They fought through it, and they were able to walk. I was told I would be in a wheelchair by the time I was 25. By the grace of whatever gods helped me, I'm 57 and still walking. Not very far, not very long, and damn sure not very fast, but I'm walking. Welcome, John. So when you're asking the gods and goddesses for help, it comes down to you to step up and do what needs to be done, right? Wouldn't you think?
All right.
So what are, and if we think about it, you guys in the text chat and you guys over in Discord, what are some of the things that you may have, if you don't mind sharing, what are some of the things you may have reached out to the gods for and seen an answer one way or the other?
Oh boy. The most recent one is I asked the God's help to let Paul's parent or his dad be comfortable, and if they see fit, to let him go on to the next life.
I know some of the others of you in Discord for sure. I'm not sure about the text chat area. We've all asked for help. We have asked for help from the gods. We've asked for help from friends and family and what have you. And when it all comes down to it, like if I ask somebody to go get me a Q-tip, they can go get the Q-tip, but I'm the one that's got to use the damn thing. So case in point, when we meet those people that have the expectations of the gods to do it for them, I have a tendency to look at them and tell them, look, you can ask the gods and goddesses all day long for help, but unless you're willing to get off of your keister and do what needs to be done, they can offer the help, but they're not going to do it for you. Right?
Right. Just like the other day, I was depressed and said, okay guys, please, give me some energies, give me some insight. I want to get out of this mood. Sorry.
Well, that woke me up.
Sorry.
That'll be the puppy alarm then.
Well, mine, with this new job, I was drowning before I got this new job, and I just put it out there. I've done everything I can. Can you please help? And then this new job falls into my lap.
Something else that, and Clint saying that, something else comes to mind that that I was always raised with, and it's called a dream board. A dream board. Let me read this and I'll tell you about the dream board. Lee says he had knee surgery last Wednesday. Dude, hope you're doing better. Had knee surgery last Wednesday and asked that I heal quickly so I can get back to caring for the family. I've been walking on my own for 2 days. Rock on, dude. Absolutely. I know my mom has had 2 knee surgeries. Fortunately, I have not yet. But good job. And that's the tenacity that I'm talking about. You ask your deity for assistance. You ask them for the strength and the wisdom and the ability to be able to do the things you need to do. But at the end of the day, you're the one that has to get off the couch. You're the one that has to go through the pain and the anxieties of being able to walk. I know at 16, when I was put in traction in the hospital, and they told me that because of the damage that had been done to my spine, that I would, like I said earlier, be in a wheelchair by the time I was 25. And what I started doing was working out very slowly, building muscles around the weak portion of the back. My question then, unbeknownst to now, the question was not to help me walk, but to help me build the muscle around the weak areas so that I can continue to be productive. So it's like Clint said about the job and all the rain and everything that southeast and south central Texas got over this last week. It was a pretty nasty situation.
Where was it?
But one of the things I want to tell you guys about, and I'm sure you've heard of it, right? When I was younger, we always had what we called a dream board, right? Now, of course, this was back in the color TV days with 8-track players and answering machines, and your caller ID was a separate device that you plugged into the phone line. Boy, am I dating myself. But this was a caulk board, usually about 3 foot by 3 foot, that you could get from the hobby store. And you went through magazines. Now, whenever this video is watched, some of you young people may not know what a magazine is. But in my day, we used to get the Sears and Roebuck catalog. Ooh. We even got the Granger catalog. Ooh.
Now you're showing your age.
Right? But we would
TGY and Kresge's.
What's that?
TG&Y and Kresge's.
Yeah, absolutely. But what we would do is we would write our dreams and our wishes and things we wanted to be, places we wanted to live, and places we wanted to go, and we would post them on the dream board, the pictures of our dream house, the pictures of our dream property, our dream car, whatever. And we would post them on the dream board, and we would walk by every day and look at that dream board and remember our dreams. Remember where we wanted to be when we grew up. Remember what we wanted to do. Give us something to strive for. Give us something to fight for. And the old saying is, if you put it out to the cosmos and you just keep feeding that positive thought processes to the cosmos, this is what I want to be, this is where I want to go, this is what I want to do. Well, in admittance, thinking back on it, absolutely none of that dream board came true, but it taught me to fight for what I want, stand up for what's right to me, right? Never stop dreaming. When I was younger, teachers always called me a dreamer. I'm like, you're right, I am a dreamer. But it's that dreamer that's going to push me through. It's being able to ask the gods for the help and being able to step through and fight for it myself. Case in point, I am alphanumeric dyslexic. And if you don't know what dyslexic is, look it up.
I've got it too.
But when you're alphanumeric dyslexic, the school counselors always told me I would never amount to anything but a ditch digger or an oil field worker. Okay, I worked in the oil field. That little finger is what I got out of working in the oil field. Well, that, and it was a lot of fun. I drove an 18-wheeler for a while. I was a welder, mechanic, a ditch digger. I can operate heavy machinery. But I also knew that was not my career. Now, in the 80s and the 90s, well, in the 80s, early 90s, up to 1994, I thought I would always be perfectly happy selling auto parts, being in the automotive industry, building racing engines, going and driving a dirt track car on the weekends. I always thought I'd be perfectly happy with that. Well, the cosmos decided it had something different for me to do in 1994. The automotive business went belly up. I got laid off. And somehow, for some reason, I got into computers. Well, here I am, some 30 odd years later. I am a digital forensics network PC computer science engineer with a degree. Now, you tell me how someone alphanumeric dyslexic made it through a degree in computers with a 3-point.
Very patiently.
Yeah. And tenacity.
Awesome.
Plain old tenacity. Refusing to give up, refusing to be kicked down, and give credence where credence is due. The gods, that little push. Never give up. Never give up. So the whole case in point, and unless somebody wants to carry it a little further, we can call it relatively short today. Unless anybody has any stories they want to tell about their listening to the gods and using their own tenacity to get through. am. I'm not used to you people being this quiet.
Well,
Well,
I'm multitasking.
Clint's multitasking.
Lucy.
Hell, Lucy.
What? Why are you calling me out?
Lucy fell
I told
asleep.
you I'm not feeling good.
Lucy fell
I'm not
asleep.
awake.
You know we love you, Lucy.
Yeah.
Nah.
I'm just half asleep.
Nah, only half asleep.
Well, case in point, asking for the help of the gods and goddess. A lot of us have been doing it a lot lately because it helps us stabilize in mindset. Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah. But who has to take responsibility for making it happen?
So,
Right. And this is the thing why we like to do this kind of topic a couple of times a year, because people become complacent. Some churches, and I'm going to be very careful how I say this. I am a firm believer in put it in the God's hands, let them help you carry it, let them help you deal with it. I am a firm believer in listening to spirit guides and deity. But I'm also, more than anything else, a firm believer in if you ask the question, you have to be willing to hear the answer. Feel the answer. See the answer that may not be spoken to you through human ears. There may be an answer in a change of emotion. It may be so subtle as something that didn't work all of a sudden works. So when you give everything to the gods, right? And you say, okay, I have screwed this up beyond any point of return trying to handle it myself. Help me out here, guys. You have to be willing to allow that nudge of the gods to help you make changes in your momentum. If your momentum has you spiraling out of control and headed towards a brick wall, and you personally can't figure out how to change that momentum, you need something or someone to kick you over, smack you upside the head, and help you fall off of that momentum so you can stop and look and listen to the changes that need to be made. I'm of the mindset that the only thing, be it spirit, gods, goddesses, spirit guide, whatever, 2x4, hammer, the only thing that's going to change me, my outlook, my perception, my momentum, is me. So what it all boils down to, in a bucket, is we live in this bucket. And sometimes I think the gods are sitting there looking down in the bucket. And every once in a while they'll put a stick in and they'll go and stir up the bucket. Just to see what we do. Well, I'm of the mindset that, okay, when the winds start, I'm going to be caught up in it just like everybody else. But if I can allow myself to suck back on that bucket and put my hands out to the side and stop myself from being a part of everybody else's momentum, then I will be able to listen. Yeah, Lucy says, or shake the snow globe. Yeah. If I can stop my involvement in everybody else's momentum, then I'm going to be able to listen to what the gods are showing me. Now, you notice I said, listen to what the gods are showing me. Last week we talked about opening your eyes. Well, this is a part of that. If you can't or won't open yourself up to something bigger than yourself, if you get so wrapped up in your own inabilities, you're not going to be able to accomplish anything, because you're going to be so wrapped up in the things you can't do versus the things you can, or the things you won't do versus the things you will. And I do want to close with this, right?
Right.
When you're running so fast, either to or away from or towards whatever it is you're running, and you have to cross a major highway to get to wherever it is you're going. If you trip and stumble, you get tangled up in rope, or you slip and fall down the ditch before you get to the freeway, but you keep scratching and clawing anyway. Maybe something or someone is telling you to wait before you try to cross that highway without looking. So when everything goes dark and all the lights go out and it's only you that can see through the darkness, listen to the gods and listen to yourself, and I think you will find you're not a bad person. Thank you for joining us on Open Pagan Church. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next week right here, hopefully with another good topic.